Greetings, fellow pro wrestling fans. It's Mr. Warren Hayes here, and it's time once again for another daily G1 CLIMAX 33 recap and review right here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes or on your favorite podcast application, wherever you find the Mr. Warren Hayes Show, a pro wrestling podcast. That's its Christian name. It's full-bodied name. Thank you for being here. You do the likes and the subscribes and the ratings and reviews and all that stuff. Tremendous help to grow the channel. Don't get me wrong, and it's little tiny things like that just help out tremendously. Trust me. But I'm back today after a day off yesterday. I am back today to review yesterday's G1 because I'm recording this on July 28th. There are no G1 matches happening today, so I missed out on the 27th live. So I'm back here today, having watched it. I just finished watching it. At what time did you finish watching it? That's none of your business. When I finished watching it, and we're gonna break this down. We're gonna keep things going here, but before we do, results for the A block. Shota Umino defeated Chase Owens. Then we had Gabe Kidd Gabe Kidd and Kaito Kiyomiya going to a double countout. Hikuleo defeated Yota Tsuji, and SANADA defeated Ren Narita. As for the B block, we have Taichi defeating YOSHI-HASHI. We have Tanga Loa defeating the Great Okan. El Phantasmo defeats KENTA, and Will Ospreay defeated Kazuchika Okada in the main event. But let's go right ahead, start talking about Block A. We're going to break this down immediately. Block A kicked off the night with Shota Umino versus Chase Owens. I thought this was a nice little pro wrestling match. I thought it was solid, well done. I think Chase Owens is having once again, a solid G1, despite the fact that it's, unspectacular. Like, I don't think there's any Chase Owens match so far. We still have 2 to go. It isn't trending towards him delivering something spectacular, but, we could end up with something that we'll remember, but there's nothing memorable that's coming out of here. I think the big talking point here is Shota Umino getting his getting a win here over Chase, which was critical for Shota to remain in the conversation. We're going to talk about the standings in a second, but and this is despite the fact that in the match Chase Owens hits a jewel heist, a C trigger, but you know what? Umino rolls out of a package pile driver, and I really like the reversal, and he yanks Owens into a death rider. I thought it was a nice, clean finish, good little opener, solid little opener, good stuff. The next A block match we're going to talk about, ruled, was Kaito Kiyomiya versus Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd does it again, attacks during presentations, but they actually fight from behind the curtain. So it's not like Kiyomiya, being a complete moron, got jumped. No, they were already fighting backstage. And this, it comes out on during Kiyomiya's introductions. And I'll tell you what, this absolutely ruled, because Gabe Kidd was doing all his shtick and was super into it. Like, he had that fire, that basic energy, rage energy that he has. But it seemed to had fired up Kiyomiya at the same time. Our boy Kaito was absolutely electric in this match, and it ignited something in him that we haven't seen in the G1 up until this point. I'm not going to say that we've never seen out of Kaito, but not in the G1 so far. He's had good matches, but being as fired up as he was here, and they were fighting all over the place. They were fighting into the audience and getting real brutal with each other, and they're dropping each other on their heads with Saito suplexes and kicks, more strikes, German suplexes. Of course, Gabe Kidd does the hidden donkey kick, low blow, and he does his best to avoid a tiger suplex. And he just lands some brutal palm strikes but that just fires Kiyomiya up, and he just explodes out of the corner. And Gabe Kidd is just reeling at this point, and Kiyomiya is enjoying this. And they fight into the audience again, and it turns into a brawl. And they don't give a shit at this point about points. It got personal in this match. They're spitting on each other. This got really, really, really personal for the both of them. And I was here for it. This ruled. This is the kind of match that that you show someone about, let's say, regarding Kaito Kiyomiya, and you're telling them, this kid has all the potential. He can be a top guy. And they're like, well, I haven't seen it yet. Well, you show him this. You show him this match. And you get it. Just fired up. And Kid here, I don't think his gimmick has been more spot on throughout the entire tournament than here. Absolutely phenomenal. But I think you had to tell the other nights to get us to this point with Kiyomiya. Otherwise, I don't think it would have worked. I don't think it would have been as successful, because he ramped it up here. It wasn't, just a, run of the mill, let's do some interference. And no. These guys were out to destroy each other, and I loved it. Loved every second of it. Kid was unhinged. Kaito lost his cool, and that's fine. And we're muddying the waters even more. I just realized we have Block B set up here. We should be watching Block A. What's going on? Here we go. If you're listening to this, you have no idea what's going on. But if you're watching, you just realized what happened. And it's sometimes, look, we're going to keep this in because we just want to get the audio out, right? But it muddies the waters a little more, splitting another 2 points among two guys. Not a draw this time to count out, but nonetheless, fantastic. Just a fantastic fight. A fight. And the next A block match was Hikuleo defeating Yota Tsuji. My main notice here is that it's crazy how tall Hikuleo is. When you compare him next to Yota Tsuji, who you already say, man, this guy is tall. Tsuji is, Hikuleo's taller. Big spot where Yota Tsuji does a run off the apron and Hikuleo lands hard into the barricades. And surprise win here by Hikuleo. And I think everyone is a little surprised at the entirety of this Musketeers tale that they've been telling. Yota Tsuji comes up with another loss, which again surprises probably even outside of this idea of the Musketeers. I don't think anyone expected Yota Tsuji to not have a winning record at this point in the tournament, which he does not. So told you this Tokyo shows would be filled with surprises. Here's another one. Hikuleo getting the win here, and Tsuji tries to stomp him a couple of times, but Hikuleo just no-sells them, doesn't even, he just stays there. His head doesn't hit the mat. Tsuji can't push his head down with his foot. Hikuleo kicks Tsuji in the face while he's doing a spear, lands the power slam and a choke slam for the win. And I'm as stunned as all of you are. Fantastic final stretch to this match. Hikuleo, second match in a row where he feels alive, where he feels like, okay, I'm doing shit. I've got my working boots on. Are we starting to turn around in Hikuleo? Well, let's pump the brakes here. Hang on a second here, Warren. But this was good. This was a good little match. And then the final A block match was SANADA versus Ren Narita. I thought it was okay. I thought the finish was quite good. Narita was in control for the majority of this match. And working SANADA's legs. He had a game plan. He was going all scientific wrestling on SANADA here. That was his whole thing. Play some of the hits with the German with bridge and things to that effect. And lands in that Boston crab cloverleaf thing that he does. And Sanada's in trouble. He's in trouble with his leg, but not in trouble enough to enter a great final stretch where Ren Narita eats a deadfall for the win. So you know, it kind of sucks again, like that we're still in this spot with the Musketeers, where another one is you know, just to, you know, in the last show I was telling you, I wouldn't put it past New Japan to sort of give a shot in the arm here, give us the big surprise when Narita gets a pin and then gets a title shot, you know, on the way to Wrestle Kingdom. But no, we're not even doing that. So, you know, a bit of a surprise here, not gonna lie. It was a good match, well wrestled. But again, like, there's something about these SANADA matches, man, that all just lump together and feel the same. I still don't see the appeal. I don't get it. And this was a little dry because Narita is also a pretty dry wrestler. So, you know, nothing bad, but nothing that you're going to be chomping at the bit to rewatch here. So as we look at the standings right now, we've got SANADA at 10 points at the top now, and he is the first wrestler of the G1 to qualify for the playoffs. There's no one else in his block that will bump him off of moving forward to the quarterfinals or whatever it is, the quarterfinals, semis. Is that right? Quarters, semis, finals, right? Yeah. But there's no one bumping him off on that point. Then you have Kaito, Kiyomiya, and Shota Umino tied at 6. Gabriel Kidd at 5 points. Chase Owens and Hikuleo at 4. Yota Tsuji at 3. And Ren Narita at 2. You're probably looking at this if you're watching this on video on Spotify or on YouTube. Probably saying, Warren, why aren't you eliminating Ren Narita while you discounted Hikuleo? Well, that's an excellent question. Because we did soft eliminate Hikuleo a couple of nights ago. But I'm more weary in regards to Narita, and I'm going to tell you why. Because Narita everyone has 2 matches left, right? That goes without saying at this point. His last 2 matches, just because we're in a race for the runner-up here. I think this is clear. Like, even if Kaito or Umino win their next 2 matches and go up to 10, they're tied with SANADA. SANADA's got wins over both. So it's like, you know, it's like there's nothing serious here that can happen to them, right? SANADA has Chase Owens left and Gabe Kidd. And he has wins over Kiyomiya and Shota. So even if they tie him, he's fine. This is why he's already qualified. No one can bump him off of the tournament. He's at the top. He's not moving. Even if he loses a match. I mean, look, here's the thing. It's like he'd have to lose the next 2, which is Chase Owens and I just had it right here. Sorry about that. SANADA and Chase Owens and Gabe Kidd, which is highly unlikely. Now, you could give Chase Owens the big, you know, surprise win. You could, but I really don't see. They're establishing SANADA as a guy in this G1. This is a part of the story that they've been telling. They're establishing him as a guy. So he's going to the playoffs, right? He has to. Otherwise, it's a hell of a surprise. So he's essentially qualified. Again, you know, even if he loses his next 2, he still has the tiebreakers over Kiyomiya and Umino, who are his closest competition, and no one else is going to catch up to him. So we're still in a race for for second place because of all the draws, because of all the countouts or the countout. So there's still a lot of moving pieces going around. And the reason why I have trouble discounting completely Ren Narita out of this is because his next match is with Chase Owens, which technically speaking is a match he can win. And then his final match on night on night 13, August 5th, the A block night, he's fighting Kaito Kiyomiya, who is in competition for him for block placement. Now, I would be surprised if Kiyomiya loses another match before Narita. Who's Kiyomiya got? Kiyomiya has Hikuleo. Then again, you know, there's a reason why they're having Hikuleo suddenly warming him up before getting warmed up here to pose a threat. For me as an analyst to go, well, Hikuleo might actually have a chance here. I still think he doesn't. I really have trouble seeing Pro Wrestling Noah agreeing to have Kaito Kiyomiya lose to, you know, one of the job guys of the company anyway. So there's still a few scenarios here with where Narita is possibly still in the mix, and he's got matches that he still could possibly win. There's just so much unpredictability around the Musketeers, and let's throw Kiyomiya in here as well. And we can even throw Gabe Kidd into the conversation here. There's so much unpredictability going around right now that it's hard to soft eliminate anyone else. There's going to be mathematical eliminations on the next night, on night 11. But I have trouble discounting Narita even to this point. There we are. So those are the standings. That's the analysis right now for the Block A. Now it's time to pull up Block B, Warren. Now you're good. Now you have your video all set up. Thank God it's not impacting the audio too much. So let's go right ahead. I'm gonna go back in my notes here. Professional audio maker Warren Hayes. Taichi defeated YOSHI-HASHI. I really like this. I thought I again, very strong. Maybe not as super compelling as I thought, but I thought it was a great fight nonetheless. Unsurprisingly hard hitting and physical nonetheless. Very good stuff on both guys who worked hard, because understandably these points matter. See, this is another thing. Both of these guys knew that they had to, you know, this was one of their last opportunities to rise above the pack, because you've got Taichi here, who who's now with the win over YOSHI-HASHI, rises above. He's, you know, still in the conversation to move forward, especially considering the results in the main event. So, you know, that was good on that point, and a very strong match between the two, and two of the hardest workers of the entire G1. So why wouldn't you expect anything else from these two guys who always put on their working boots and put on solid matches? This was an extremely solid match. Yota Tsuji versus, we talked about that. Great Okan versus Tanga Loa. Tanga Loa defeating Great Okan. I have nothing to add here. I thought this match kind of stunk. Slow, basic efforts, no energy. Look, they have no time to put on a proper wrestling match for me. I don't have time to talk about them. El Phantasmo defeated KENTA. Wouldn't call this a match. This is absolutely an angle, because the majority of the time reserved for this match was spent with these two guys fighting into the audience, brawling in the audience, plundering. You know, you get kendo sticks involved, and they're wailing on each other on the floor. ELP gets busted open, eating a DDT on the floor. He's flying off the bleachers, and he's getting DDT'd in the bleachers as well. Good brawl, don't get me wrong. And it's a great way to mask all of Kenta's little, let's call them idiosyncrasies. But for real, this is what it was, and this is what KENTA is moving forward. I'm not beating that horse anymore. But the match in and about itself, you look at the time, 19 seconds, because KENTA drags the broken down body of ELP, drops him in the ring, gets the ref to ring the bell. Then he sets him up for a GTS. ELP gets out of it, rolls him up to a small package for the win. I mean, look, and it's part of, the larger tale that they're telling regarding El Phantasmo and his, his retribution that he wants over his former Bullet Club brethren. So that's fine. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the brawl. For what it's worth, this is one of those where he's like, how do you rate this? You can't. You really can't rate this. Yeah, as a match, as a bell-to-bell thing. If the moment you start rating a match is when the bell goes ding, ding, ding. No, you can't rate this. Because there was a lot of stuff around it. And in the main event, we had Will Ospreay defeating Kazuchika Okada. Since I'm a day removed, we have the foresight to see that the Wrestling Observer newsletter, aka David Meltzer, gave it 4 3/4 stars. I'm like, Dave, let's pump the brakes. This was great, don't get me wrong. And I think this is going to be the point of discussion around this match, is that how great of a match it was, but how maybe it didn't live up to what you expect an Okada Ospreay match to be, right? And I think that's fair, because look, this was a different match than what they usually do. I thought it was rugged. I thought it was robust. How about that? It was a robust match in the sense that it was physical. They were laying into each other a lot more. Wasn't as much about the moves. We did get the moves, but it was a little more grounded, a little more real. Very strong and an important win for Will Ospreay. Not only for the G1 in and about itself, to make sure that he stays in the conversation, because now he's in a great spot. He's tied with Okada at 8 points. They're both at the top of the board, but he also holds the tiebreaker over Okada. So that is a huge deal. That's non-negligible. And he's the only guy who's wielding a tiebreaker over Kazuchika Okada right now. Again, a big deal. But so it's a big deal for him on that front. That was the first part of it. The second part is because he finally defeated Kazuchika Okada. He finally went ahead and beat Okada after years of trying to do it. Beat him once, if I'm not mistaken, but that's when they introduced Great Okan, and Great Okan interfered. When Will was leaning more heel, the chaos defection was still very fresh, right? So there were but Will himself has said it. I've never beat Okada clean, and this is what I want to do, and he did it. He did it in the G1, and I think this might be irritating a lot of people, where they felt that this should have been saved for whenever. But how many matches do you have to save at some point? And I think it's a great story bump. I think there are bigger stories you can tell in 2023 right now, especially with Will Ospreay, other than can he beat Kazuchika Okada or not? He can. He did it. He did it in the G1. He did it in a crucial match. So it all has significance. It all has weight. I thought it was very good. Very methodical by both guys. And like I said, we got the moves. We've got Okada anti-airing an Os cutter with a drop kick. We get Ospreay doing a draping Os cutter over the apron. Maybe it didn't have the drama. Maybe it didn't build to the drama that it usually does, and maybe you can count that to the 20-minute time limit, right? Which is absolutely a thing. I think these guys together, they like to take their time to tell their in-ring stories. Probably if they had another 10 minutes or so, we would have got something completely different. But instead, we get the finishing stretch that we got, which was compact, and I liked it, dynamic, even got me. Look, when Okada rolled him up with the sit down, I was like, there we go. But no, kicked out, landslide lands, but Will Ospreay ducks the Rainmaker, does his little ripcord, hidden blade, and then lands the Stormbreaker, classic Will. He's been, he does the leap of faith thing earlier in the match, and it doesn't work. Okada rolls out of the way, so he's like, okay, we got to go back to basics then. Just fantastic stuff, and a very important win for Will Ospreay. Now, before all of this happened, I got yesterday I got a message from someone who told me, they told me, go watch the match, Okada and Ospreay, then go to Will's Twitter account or his X account. Okay, so I didn't do it. I didn't go see it, and I figured, hey, you know what? We'll do it. I'll do it while I'm recording the thing, the recap, and if it's terrible audio, I'll just edit it out. So I'll let's go see. So I'm going to his X account. Okay, here it is. I got it. 8-year journey finally came to an end. Thank you so much. That's what he posted yesterday after the match. And now whoever sent me that didn't give me any context, didn't add anything, just go read. I'm like, okay. 8-year journey finally came to an end. Thank you so much. And we have the picture of Will celebrating after the victory. I don't understand. What's the big deal? What is the big deal here? Is it because it's been 8 years since he's been trying to beat Okada, right? Isn't that right? Didn't he debut no, not that he debuted. His first match with Ospreay would be with Okada would be in 2015, right? Let's do the exercise together here. We'll go to his cage match. Ospreay cage match. And we'll go to his career and we'll go to 2015, and I would assume it would be a Rev Pro match. And yes, his first match was in 2015 against Kazuchika Okada. His first match with Kazuchika Okada was in 2015. We use proper sentence structure here, Warren. And Okada beat him. So it's been 8 years for this. Now I know there's this snafu of him having defeated Okada that one time thanks to Great Okan interfering, but since last year, Ospreay has been trying to retcon that and saying, I've never beat him cleanly. I want to beat him cleanly. If I'm to be one of the best, I have to beat the best, at their best. No more cheating, no more nonsense. Like, this is stuff that he's been saying. So this is what the 8-year journey is. I don't understand why it's like, why is this significant? I might be deleting this audio because I don't understand. Hang on, maybe there's some discourse around this. Let's see the quote tweets. Oh, people think he's quitting New Japan. Oh. Because people think, okay, well, no, that's not what this is. And I know it's amidst rumors that his deal is up, but he wouldn't be announcing that he's leaving New Japan in the middle of the G1. What are we doing? No, okay, this is what this is. No, come on, all right, come on, smarten up, people. What are we doing here? This is 8 years since he first fought Kazuchika Okada, finally beat him. That's the story. This is what we've been telling. This is what he told. Come on now. This is nonsense. What are we even doing here? Okay. Thank you for the tweet. It is good content, turns out, if anything, to just make sure that the A+ audience of the MrWarrenHayes show understands. But I'm sure you already understood that when he's talking about 8 years, he's not talking about, finally 8 years done in New Japan. Because that was the match. Isn't that the match where Okada went back to the office and said, and said, this kid has to come work for us. We need this Will Ospreay kid to come work for us. Got him a job. It was that Rev Pro match, right? If I'm not mistaken. It was from that point on. And then he brought him into Chaos. Anyway. No, we'll keep that in. It's interesting audio for if anything. It's more interesting than I thought. But look, good main event. Look, let's run down the thing. But I really like the main event. I don't think it's their best. And it will not be their best. But it was a great match nonetheless. We're splitting hairs here. But I think this is the type of conversation when you're having two of the greatest of all time wrestling, and let's say you get a 4-star match out of a 5, you're kind of disappointed. I understand, but this was miles better than a lot of stuff on this card here tonight. Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay are at the top of Block B with 8 points. Taichi at 6. YOSHI-HASHI, ELP, KENTA, Tanga Loa all at 4. Great-O-Khan is out. He's been out since night 9. So that's where we're at. Are we at night? 2 nights ago. Is that night 9? Tonight is night 9. So he's been out since night 7. I'm trying to expedite things. So that's where we're at right now. I'm not, I'm not going to do any extra eliminations either. I don't think there's anything. There's anyone real, like, there's just enough mixture here to make it interesting. Like, you can absolutely make a case for KENTA being one because it's KENTA and whatever. El Phantasmo has a good case. He's wrestling Will Ospreay on the final night, so that might be significant. Because Phantasmo might get his another win in 2 nights. YOSHI-HASHI still around, and Taichi is really well positioned, so there's still a good mixture here. I don't feel comfortable soft eliminating anyone tonight either. But as for recommendations of this night, which overall, really, the 2 matches that I'm going to recommend are probably the matches that are worth your while, and everything else is absolutely skippable. The main event, unquestionably, and I would recommend Gabe Kidd and Kaito Kiyomiya because it's wild, it's fantastic, just good, vicious, fired up wrestling. A bit of an off night. I wouldn't say it's a bad night. Wouldn't call it as bad as it was night 6. That was terrible. Night 6 was the shits. This was pretty good overall, but ultimately forgettable. And I really think you just have to focus on those 2 matches, and we can skip over to Sunday, which is the next time we will be meeting. We are leaving officially, right? Tokyo. We're heading to Aichi at the Prefectural Gymnasium this upcoming Sunday. And I will be back, of course, with the recap. But this is what we have in store. Second to last night of C Block action. And this is the last night. No, I'm sorry. This is not the second to last. This is the third to last for C Block. Sorry about that. But there's 2 more nights of join block action left after this. And then the blocks are separated. They each have their own night for to wrap up. So that'll be interesting. But anyway, jumping ahead here. Block C has Hinare versus Dave Finley. That should be a blast. It's opening though. Interesting. Mikey Nichols versus Eddie Kingston. Look, with the tournament Mikey Nichols is having, this should be fun as hell. Tomohiro Ishii versus Evil. Ishii has a tendency to bring out the best sides of Evil. So hopefully it'll be one of those. And Tama Tonga versus Shingo Takagi, which should be a good time as well. As far as the D block goes, we've got Toriano versus Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb deserves the night off. Tetsuya Naito versus Alex Coughlin. I think Naito sort of continues his upward trajectory. Then Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shane Haste in the TMDK battle. I mean, you know, we'll see how much silliness they dive into here with hysterical Shane Haste and Zack Sabre Jr., who has a penchant for doing a splash of comedy. And the main event is very interesting. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroki Goto. We have broken down Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroki Goto, who's selling ribs, or, you know, we don't know if it's a work or not. I know he posted x-rays that, you know, there's no, you know, his ribs aren't broken and he's going to continue on, but, you know, they can still be hurt. He can still be injured, even if they're not broken. Being not broken is very good, but he can still be injured. So we've got one guy who's broken down, one guy who's injured. I don't know what to think about this, folks. I really don't. We'll have to see what comes up next after this match. So we'll be back on Sunday for the next G1 Climax 33 recap show. Hope you've been enjoying these so far. If you have, a like, a subscription, reviews, ratings, all that stuff helps out a great deal. So and there's always stuff going on here. There's the Collision review also coming, AEW Collision review coming on Sunday, the Mr. Warren Hayes show proper on Tuesday. Wherever you decide to pop in, folks, I will see you next time.